Over 600 aircraft built. Production shut down in 2021, and used examples are still selling for $30 million. The Gulfstream G550, priced new at approximately $62 million, may be the most proven ultra-long-range jet ever made. Let's break it down. Performance and range. The G550 was not designed to be the flashiest jet on the ramp. It was designed to be the most dependable. And for nearly 2 decades, it delivered on that promise so completely that Gulfstream eventually had to stop building it. Not because anyone stopped wanting one, but because the factory needed the line to build what came next. Power comes from 2 Rolls-Royce BR710 C411 turbofan engines, each producing approximately 15,385 pounds of thrust. These are the same proven power plants that logged millions of hours across the G550's predecessor, and Gulfstream paired them with an aerodynamically refined airframe that reduced drag and extended range by 250 nautical miles over the Gulfstream 5. The result is a jet that punches well above what its launch-era competitors could offer. At high-speed cruise, the G550 reaches approximately 588 miles per hour, fast enough to set over 50 official city pair speed records during its production life. In long-range cruise configuration, it settles at approximately 562 miles per hour, trading a little speed for significantly more distance. That maximum range figure is 6,750 nautical miles, connecting city pairs that were genuinely impossible for most business jets of its era. New York to Dubai, London to Singapore, Tokyo to Los Angeles, all non-stop, all without a fuel stop, all in complete privacy. The G550 climbs to its initial cruise altitude of 45,000 feet quickly, clearing commercial traffic and most weather within the first few minutes after takeoff. It is certified to fly as high as 51,000 feet, 6 miles above the Earth, where the air is thin, smooth, and the jet reaches peak efficiency. At that altitude, the cabin pressure is maintained equivalent to approximately 5,900 feet, which means passengers arrive at overseas destinations far more rested than any commercial flight could provide. On the ground, the G550 needs approximately 5,910 feet of runway. That figure opens access to airports that larger cabin jets simply cannot use. And the National Business Aviation Association awarded it a dispatch reliability rating of 99.9%, which Gulfstream describes as the equivalent of missing only 1 trip in 5 years of service. For an aircraft expected to fly heads of state, Fortune 500 executives, and high-net-worth families on mission-critical routes, that number is not a statistic. It is the entire product promise. Those numbers are impressive on paper, but the cabin is where $62 million becomes genuinely difficult to argue with. More on that in just a second. Exterior design. The G550's exterior is pure Gulfstream, clean swept lines, a narrow fuselage that cuts through the air with minimal drag, and a design language that has remained visually relevant decades after its first flight. It does not try to be dramatic. It does not need to be. The most distinctive exterior feature is the 14 signature oval windows running the length of the fuselage. Gulfstream introduced this oval shape specifically to increase natural light in the cabin, and on the ramp, they give the aircraft an immediately recognizable silhouette. The engine nacelles sit low on the rear fuselage, keeping the wing clean for maximum aerodynamic efficiency. Paint schemes vary dramatically from aircraft to aircraft, since Gulfstream offers essentially unlimited customization options at delivery. But even in bare primer, the G550 carries itself with the quiet confidence of an aircraft that does not need to announce its price to make an impression. Cabin. Step through the door of the G550, and the first thing that strikes you is the length. 50 feet and 1 inch of pressurized interior space. That is longer than many apartments in Manhattan, running the full usable length of the fuselage from the forward galley to the aft lavatory. Width is 7 feet 3 inches, height 6 feet 2 inches. You stand fully upright. You move naturally between zones, and the aircraft never feels like you are tolerating a confined space to get somewhere. Configurations typically divide the cabin into 3 or 4 distinct living areas: a forward club section, a conference zone, a lounge aft, a private stateroom with a fully flat bed for overnight transoceanic routes. Up to 16 passengers can be accommodated in typical executive layouts, though most owners configure for 10 to 12 in genuine comfort. 14 oval windows flood the cabin with natural light, and Gulfstream's advanced sound suppression makes the interior noticeably quieter than competitors of the same era. The galley is positioned forward, fully equipped, and can be fitted to virtually any specification, from a simple beverage center to a full catering-grade kitchen. 100% fresh air circulates throughout the cabin at all times. Materials throughout are owner-specified at delivery. Hand-tailored leather, fine hardwoods, polished metals, and custom fabrics selected from Gulfstream's design studio or brought in by private designers. The aft section typically houses a full lavatory with shower capability in higher specification completions. And the forward crew rest area keeps cabin staff out of the passenger zones entirely on long overnight routes. On a 14-hour flight from New York to Dubai, that level of separation is not a luxury. It is the reason you chose this aircraft over a first-class seat. Cockpit. The G550 introduced the Gulfstream Plainview Avionics Suite, and when it launched in 2003, it was genuinely revolutionary. 4 14-inch Honeywell flat-panel EFIS displays replaced the sea of round gauges found in older business jets. A cursor control device, similar to a laptop trackpad, let pilots manage systems with unprecedented efficiency. 2 features stand out as firsts: the Enhanced Vision System, which uses infrared imaging to show pilots what the human eye cannot see in low visibility, and a standard head-up display that projects flight data directly in the pilot's forward sightline. Both came as standard equipment when no competitor offered them at all. Costs and pricing. The G550's original list price was approximately $62 million new. In today's pre-owned market, production ended in July 2021, so all acquisitions are now used, aircraft are trading between approximately $11 million and $35 million, depending on year, total airframe hours, engine program enrollment, and cabin specification. That represents one of the most dramatic value propositions in ultra-long-range aviation: 6,000-mile range, proven reliability, and a Gulfstream badge for roughly a third of a comparable new aircraft. Annual fixed costs for a G550 run approximately $1.2 to $1.5 million per year. This covers 2 full-time pilots at roughly $350,000 annually, including training and benefits, insurance at approximately $150,000 per year, hangar fees averaging $80,000 to $120,000, depending on location and enrollment in manufacturer maintenance programs. These costs exist whether the aircraft flies 50 hours or 500. Variable costs add approximately $6,500 to $7,500 per flight hour. Fuel is the largest driver at roughly 420 gallons per hour, with current jet fuel prices translating to approximately $3,300 per flight hour in fuel alone. Maintenance reserves cover the Rolls-Royce engine program and airframe inspections. At 450 annual flight hours, total operating costs approach approximately $4 to $4.5 million per year. For an aircraft in this category, those numbers are competitive. The G550 delivers ultra-long-range performance at a pre-owned acquisition cost that younger competing designs simply cannot match. Many owners also offset a meaningful portion of their fixed costs by placing the aircraft on a charter certificate when it would otherwise sit in the hangar. A G550 on the charter market commands approximately $9,000 to $11,500 per flight hour, depending on routing and configuration. At a modest 100 charter hours per year, that revenue covers a significant portion of annual fixed costs, an arrangement that makes ownership considerably more accessible than the headline numbers suggest. It is one of the reasons the G550 remains one of the most actively traded pre-owned business jets in the world, even years after the production line closed. The G550 is proof that the best business jets do not age. They appreciate in reputation. Which spec impressed you most? For another Gulfstream deep dive, check out our video on the G650ER. See you there.